Welcome, everyone. Again, it is such a gift to be present with each of you tonight as we journey together for a moment. Before we dive into the subject of Do It Afraid, I would like to remind everyone that a version of the gathering will be posted on YouTube for worldwide viewing. However, the breakout sessions will not be recorded at all. So this is a moment in time that we will never see again. So I want to make sure that we capitalize on this now experience with one another. And I believe one way that we do that is through our breath. 70% of toxins are released through our breathing, and we as human beings only use about 33% of our respiratory system. So that tells me that we are not breathing enough. So I want to invite us to center in through the breath. So feel free to find a comfortable position wherever you are. You can either find a focal point in the room to gently gaze upon, gently close your eyes, or even keep your eyes open. We'll take 4 centering breaths together. And after we take these breaths together, I'll invite us to some joy and gratitude. So take a deep breath in and hold that breath and release softly and gently. Take another deep breath in and hold and release softly and slowly, allowing all the air to escape your lungs. Take another deep breath in and hold and release slowly. Take one last big breath in and hold that breath. And release with a big sigh. And bring your awareness back to your breath and into this present moment when you're ready. Thank you all for taking a moment to collectively engage in the breath. My prayer is that this time we spend together will be a source of encouragement and inspiration. The cultivation of joy and the acknowledgement of gratitude seem to stimulate, for me at least, a deeper love of myself or for ourselves, for those that we love and those that we don't know, and life in general. Joy and gratitude make room for living more abundantly. 1 John 4:18 reminds us that there is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear. For fear has to do with punishment, and whoever fears has not reached perfection in love. I welcome those who feel led in this moment to write in the chat what has brought you joy this week and or what you're grateful for. I'll read aloud what you contribute to enhance our own vibration of love for ourselves and for one another and the communities we belong to. One thing that has brought me joy, I'll kick us off, is attending an event that my sister, who's 8 years younger than me, hosted here in Charlotte. And it was absolutely phenomenal. And I was so proud of her and to be able to call her sister. She did a great job. So that brought me a lot of joy this week. And also having a sister that I not only love, but that I actually like and want to hang out with gives me a lot of gratitude. So Robin, you said that you are grateful for your health, your family, friends, and of course your dog. You are an intimate conversation with the sibling. That's wonderful. I see that the jury verdict in the Chauvin trial, the glorious, cool, sunny day under the trees, exploring a new path. I love that. I'm grateful for being able to enjoy the photos of the new baby in the family. New life is always special. Grateful for April snow on flowering trees. Grateful for the sunshine today after 2 days of snow. I'm glad you all have sunshine where you are. Grateful for my daughter's joy in her pregnancy. It's beautiful. My family, friends, and mini poodle bring me joy. Grateful for my health, my family's health, and the surprising gift COVID allowed for. Art lessons at home. That's pretty cool. Enjoying videos with my nephews, lots of April snow, and getting my first COVID shot tomorrow. Congratulations on getting vaccinated. Thank you all for sharing your gratitude and your joy in this moment. In the book A Return to Love, Marianne Williamson offers this famous passage. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. I believe we are living in a moment of planetary shift and human evolution, given our global circumstances. Over the past year, we have all been impacted by a global pandemic that has taken each of us on a roller coaster ride of emotions, whether due to the loss of jobs, the death of a loved one or loved ones, being quarantined, continuing to watch the gunning down of Black and brown bodies by law enforcement, ending relationships, beginning entrepreneurial endeavors, embarking in new love experiences, moving to a new location. And this list is not exhaustive. During this time, our world has been bombarded with fear-mongering through a variety of media platforms, whether through television, print, or social media. The latest news headlines read this way. Ma'Khia Bryant's death on the day Chauvin was found guilty is a reminder that we have a long way to go. Man charged with hate crimes after allegedly driving a truck toward Black children. Asian Americans face barriers and bigotry in medicine, and the consequences will be deadly if we don't fight vaccine misinformation. These headlines convey a country in the midst of a social justice and political health upheaval, being summoned constantly to see a reflection of itself in an effort for it to turn from its wicked ways. One can argue that the wickedness in our world is cultivated from fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of the other, fear of losing privilege, fear of who may leave. fear of what can be lost. This macro level fear is a consequence of the micro level fears we each hold. Many of us hold a fear of being vulnerable, a fear of rejection, a fear of fitting in, a fear of messing up, and a fear of letting other people down. Our fears are often based on narratives that do not exist and are dependent on people and circumstances external to us. The time we invest in our fears, I believe, is a misappropriation of the miracle of our imaginations and the expansiveness of our love for ourselves and for the other. Our fears attempt to bully us into playing it small, as Merriam-Webster names, and I will add, playing it safe. From a Buddhist viewpoint, fear is the foundation of suffering as a result of our resistance to the temporal nature of existence. Consequently, we humans accept fear as a part of our reality. One of my favorite acronyms for fear is false evidence appearing to be real. Many of us have allowed our fears to incarcerate our minds and dash our hopes. Rumi offers this: why do you stay in prison when the door is wide open? When we choose fear over our capacity to honor our lives filled with immense potential and possibility, we barricade the ever-flowing and plentiful well of divinity within us, the heaven that is nearest, so to speak, which constantly champions us to endeavor in these and greater things Jesus speaks of when speaking to the disciples in John 14:12 at the Last Supper. I believe Jesus is no exception to humanity, but an example of the miraculous beings we are when we can push past our fears and do it afraid. In the book, When Things Fall Apart, Heart Advice for Difficult Times, celebrated Buddhist teacher Pema Chodron offers the following parable. Once there was a young warrior. Her teacher told her that she had to do battle with fear. She didn't want to do that. It seemed too aggressive. It was scary. It seemed unfriendly. But the teacher said that she had to do it and gave her the instructions for the battle. The day arrived, the student warrior stood on one side and fear stood on the other. The warrior was feeling very small and fear was looking big and wrathful. They both had their weapons. The young warrior roused herself and went toward fear, prostrated 3 times and asked, "May I have permission to go into battle with you?" Fear said, "Thank you for showing me so much respect that you asked permission." Then the young warrior said, "How can I defeat you?" Fear replied, "My weapons are that I talk fast and I get very close to your face. Then you get completely unnerved and you do whatever I say. If you don't do what I tell you, I have no power. You can listen to me and you can have respect for me. You can even be convinced by me. But if you don't do what I say, I have no power." In that way, the student warrior learned how to defeat fear. I feel like I want to offer fear's response again. My weapons are that I talk fast and I get very close to your face. then you completely get unnerved and you do whatever I say. If you don't do what I tell you, I have no power. You can listen to me and you can have respect for me. You can even be convinced by me. But if you don't do what I say, I have no power. I love this message because it highlights the power we have to overcome our fears by not listening to limiting messages it offers us as to who we shall become or what will happen in the distant future. This excerpt invites us to live in the now as opposed to the not yet. It lets us know that fear can be present and we can simultaneously do the things we are afraid of by simply not doing what the voice of fear says. We honor fear's presence like we do all other emotions, and we take responsibility for our capacity and agency to not be overcome or overwhelmed by it. I appreciate the topic, do it afraid, because each of us have engaged some aspect of our lives in the midst of doing a thing afraid. We sometimes forget the things we have done afraid because we fail to memorialize them. Joshua, 4:1-7, the New Revised Standard Version reads this way. When the entire nation had finished crossing over the Jordan, the Lord said to Joshua, select 12 men from the people, one from each tribe, and command them, take 12 stones from here out of the middle of the Jordan, from the place where the priest's feet stood. Carry them over with you and lay them down in the place where you camp tonight. Then Joshua summoned the 12 men from the Israelites, whom he had appointed, one from each tribe. Joshua said to them, pass on before the ark of the Lord your God into the middle of the Jordan, and each of you take up a stone on his shoulder, one for each of the tribes of the Israelites, so that this may be a sign among you. When your children ask in time to come, what do those stones mean to you, David? What do they mean to you, Heather? What do they mean to you, Reverend Susie? Say to these stones, you shall then say to them that the waters of the Jordan were cut off in front of the ark of the covenant of the Lord. When it crossed over the Jordan, the waters of the Jordan were cut off. So these stones shall be to the Israelites a memorial forever. I love that story. About 8 years ago, while attending social work school at Columbia, I remember coming back from my field placement site on my second bus to get home. During my travels this time, I would speak to a beloved friend and colleague of mine. She was telling me about her fears and apprehension in one conversation regarding an upcoming conversation she was to have with her senior pastor at the time, who was also her supervisor. While in conversation, a knowingness came forth that was not my own and told me, tell her to bring a rock. Tell her to bring a rock with her. In my mind, I'm thinking, this is really weird. A rock. The nudge of knowingness came forth again. So I surrendered, still a little apprehensive, and told my dear friend, something's telling you to take a rock with you, that you should take a rock with you when you go. She said, Kyndra, you won't believe this. I've been praying with this rock about this situation for the last 3 months. And we both said, wow. so she took the rock with her. Malidoma Somé speaks of the necessity of minerals and ritual to restore lost memories in his book, The Healing Wisdom of Africa. He pens these words: "We have described the element of mineral as the storage place of information and have explained that when there is a break of continuity in information and history, society experiences turbulence. One of the key memories that mineral rituals evoke is the life purpose linked to each human being. The first time," he says, "I encountered a stone in a ritual sense was in the course of my initiation. We were on the last few days of 6-week-long series of journeys. The last journey was to the other world. I had reached that place after crawling inside a cave. I was supposed to bring something back from the other world, but I had not been told specifically what the thing was supposed to be. Looking down, I glimpsed a stone. The stone attracted me because it was unusually shiny. It was like a breathing star that opened and closed. When I picked it up, I was thrown into a strange dream world, an experience that culminated with my feeling that I was inside the very stone I was holding. The stone had grown bigger and bigger right in front of me. Once inside, I had a series of epiphanies that took me back several lifetimes. My memory was working with graphic accuracy. When I was released by the stone, it stopped shining. I brought the stone back with me to the everyday world. It has never left me since," end quote. What metaphorical stones do you need to carry with you to help you do this new thing, this next thing in your life, to help you do it afraid? In what ways have you broken continuity with the information in your bones that hold now? Have you made with the information in your bones that they hold? And how have you made it over and gotten through the moments when you have had to do it afraid? Because I know you've had to do it afraid before. What are you being invited to remember in this moment? In doing it afraid, we are called to surrender our maladaptive thinking, to surrender our intoxication with the not yet, to surrender the illusion of the bigness of our fears when they are no comparison to the power within us. In the book, One Day My Soul Just Opened Up, 40 Days and 40 Nights Towards Spiritual Strength and Personal Growth, Iyanla Vanzant offers the principle of surrender. She says this: surrender is the ability to achieve mental and emotional release, acknowledgement of the power of spiritual activity. It is an obedience to spiritual principle, which evolves into an experience of peace and well-being. It is an act of acceptance. When rage and fear or any other negative emotion engulfs our minds and being, we can surrender. We can admit what we feel it, and then give it up. We must surrender before we engage the influence of the negative. The issue is not that we experience the emotion. The issue is what we do, and I'll add don't do, in response to the emotion. When we are on a spiritual journey, surrender is what we must do. Surrender allows us to face the thing we fear before it becomes reality. Most of the time, the thing we fear has absolutely no power. Yet we brace ourselves for the worst possibility in that defensive posture. We keep our minds fixated on what could or might happen. The fear of facing that imaginary negative outcome is what keeps us paralyzed. Surrender places us in the offensive position. When we surrender, we mentally go to the end through the thing that we fear, which in effect releases fear thoughts from the mind. Surrender helps you to become willing to live through the experience without giving your entire life over to it. End quote. What must you do, or what must you surrender to do it afraid? What must you surrender to do it afraid? Right now, we are going to take this opportunity to break into breakout sessions of 3 for about 12 minutes to respond to these sentence stems and/or anything that has come up for you from this portion of sharing. If you don't want to go into the breakout room, we totally get it, we understand. Please do not accept the invitation that comes up on your screen. It would be good for those of you that do go into breakout sessions to turn on your camera if they are not already on. The sentence stems are as follows, and I will also put them in the chat right now. Oh, perfect. David's already put them in chat. David, you're awesome and amazing. Perfect. So they are, when I am afraid, I feel it in my, and you can list your body part or the body parts that you feel fear in. The last thing I did despite being afraid was, I moved through being afraid in this instance by, I currently am afraid of, and then I can surrender my blank to resist feeding into being afraid. So those are our sentence stems. And we'll take about 12 minutes, 4 minutes apiece for each person to answer these questions. I believe everyone is back. Perfect. It's great to see you all back. I want to make room and space. Hi, Reverend Susie and Heather. I see the waves. I want to make room and space for those that would like to share from their smaller group. Of course, your own experience and no one else's, or anything that's come up for you in the sharing up till this point. And you can raise your hand and I will call on you. Virtually, that is. Reverend Susie.
Thanks for this opportunity and this topic. I think here's something that most of us don't look at head on. Mm-hmm. And we do listen to it. I really appreciated the story you told about the warrior and fear. I did share something personal in my group that I won't go into detail about, but what I discovered when I was faced with the fear was, don't listen to the fear. And that remind yourself about what your capabilities are, what your strengths are, and really, why are we here? Sometimes we're here because we need to face the fear. Mm-hmm. Thanks for the topic.
Thank you. Thank you for that. What we focus on often magnifies, so it's changing our stories. I appreciate that. Thank you for bringing that into the space. Anyone else? Yes, Elizabeth.
I'm usually too afraid to share, so there you are. The reading that you did about I mean, I know it like the back of my hand, but it's gone out of my head for a moment. About being too afraid to shine. That whole reading, it's Nelson Mandela, but I don't think he wrote it. I think Marianne Williamson wrote it, didn't she?
Yeah.
Okay, got it right. That's the one. I just wanted to share that that's actually what gave me the courage to go into ministry.
Wow.
And do my studies with one spirit. So thank you for that.
Thank you for that. And thank you for modeling how to run head on with our fears. Thank you for that inspiration, Elizabeth. Anyone else? Yes, Robin.
Hi, thank you for those great prompts. I printed them out because I'm going to keep asking myself them every day.
Excellent.
It's so interesting that as soon as the world slowed down due to COVID, and I just serendipitously retired in that time too. So the busyness of my life of work and having things to do left space. And I discovered that I have a lot of fears about things that I was unaware that I had fears. And so this has been a huge discovery that I really thought that my faith in God and my experience, becoming a minister and being an educator and all these things just really gave me this solid foundation of like trusting in the universe. But that wasn't true. So that's why I'm here tonight. I just like need to reboot that belief that everything is divinely unfolding and that I'm protected and loved by God and that I have purpose yet to unfold. So thank you so much for all the readings and for everyone here. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Robin. Stillness often has a way of prompting up our divine knowingness. Thank you for honoring your stillness and being present here. Anyone else? All right.
Yes. Hi, it's
yes.
Susie. May I?
Yes, please, Susie.
Okay. Thank you very much. And I want to say two things. I've been really good at magnifying fears based on the past, based on not knowing the future, and working on that all sorts of ways. And what I'm finding now is what works is being in this very instant, not today, not this week, not this hour, but right now. And right now, I do have some kind of agency, and I'm not worried about control. I can click the thing to raise my hand. I can speak with you. So there's that. And I wanted to thank you for the symbol of your earrings and in the back, because I'd worked in West Africa, and it translates into English as only God. And it's like, what is this only God? And it's fear only God, the Jenyame, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. So it's such a joy to see that again. So thank you for all of this.
Thank you, Susie. Thank you so much. Being present to those things that we have control over and letting go and releasing the things that we don't. Thank you for that reminder. Anyone else before we move forward? I do want to acknowledge what someone wrote in the chat is that I realize that I don't call on my ancestors to comfort me with my fear. Thank you for writing that into the chat, because I think it's so important to remember that we have a whole spiritual lineage, ancestral lineage backing us to show up in boldness, to show up in our brilliance, and to support us along the way. So thank you for bringing that into the chat. And thank you all for the ones that have contributed. I'd like to take this last few moments of our time together to offer a tool, which I'm sure will be a reminder for many of you, if not all of you. This tool is simply creative visualization. Is a tool, I believe, to do it afraid and move through our fears. In a 2019 article titled The Nature of Fear within the online Scientific American newsletter, Lisa Feldman, a contemporary scientist, offers that our fear is constructed by the brain based on previous experiences that may be similar to the current condition and our surrounding niche of familiarity, including sight, sound, smells, etc., and can shift as the animal moves or encodes something new. Again, giving ourselves new stories. The problem with fear is that it creates a story. We tell ourselves a story about who we can be and what we can do from the vibration of fear that lacks sight, that lacks vision, and nuance, because we attempt to predict how things will turn out if we attempt to do what makes us afraid, based on conditions from previous experiences. Creative visualization allows us to offer ourselves new stories to combat the stories constructed by our fears. I believe the old adage is true. If you can see it, you can believe it. And if you can believe it, you can achieve it. Studies have shown that visualization enhances athletic performance by improving motivation, coordinating, and concentration. It can also support us in minimizing fear and anxiety. A 2011 Huffington Post article titled "How to Use Visualization to Achieve Your Goals" highlighted the story of basketball player Jerry West, who was known for making baskets at the sound of the buzzer, which gave him his nickname, Mr. Clutch. When asked how he was able to make the shots that counted most, he expressed that he had rehearsed making those same shots countless times in his mind. Other sports legends like Michael Jordan or Larry Bird, Tiger Woods, and pitcher Roy Halladay have also used visualization to improve their performance and achieve their personal best. Creative visualization works because the neurons in our brains that transmit information interpret imagery equal to real life action. When we visualize an action, the brain produces an impulse that tells our neurons to perform the movement, which creates a new neural pathway. These are bundles of cells in the brain that operate collectively to create memories or learned behaviors. When we are practicing creative visualization to overcome our fears and do it afraid, we must, of course, visualize our success and not our demise. When we are creatively visualizing, we want to, 1, be realistic, 2, visualize our success gradually, especially if the thing we desire to do afraid is overwhelmingly large. We can break it down into measurable pieces. For example, if the goal is to publicly speak to a large crowd, you may want to first start with speaking with the one person that you find it hard to have conversation with. Visualize yourself being successful regularly. That's the third thing. And then the last thing, go into detail with your creative visualization. Who is around you? What are you wearing? What do you smell? What do you hear? What are you feeling? Creative visualization is a powerful tool to be able to break through the narratives that fear attempts to make us believe are true. As we end, I would like to invite us into a brief creative visualization exercise. David is going to begin to play some ambient sounds, and I want to invite you into stillness again. You'll hear my voice talking, and I just simply want you to relax into the moment. Again, you can close your eyes or find a focal point in the room to gaze upon, or leave your eyes open. I like choices. As you found your comfortable position, I want you to bring your awareness to your breath. The more slowly you breathe, the more you feel relaxed. Again, I'm going to offer words for this creative visualization. And all you have to do is relax and imagine. Right now, I want you to think about your life. Think about your loved ones. Think about your friends, your chosen or biological family members. See them in your mind's eye. Now, think about your job. Maybe it's a current job or a new job. See yourself working. Maybe for yourself or for someone you absolutely enjoy working for. When you see all these things in your mind about your current life, how does it make you feel? Take a moment to imagine. Imagine joy. Imagine peace. Imagine excitement. Imagine completion. Where do you feel it in your body? Now, think about a goal you want to accomplish in the next year. It could be a relationship goal, an educational goal, a personal goal, or even a work-related goal. Think about why this goal is important to you. How will achieving this goal make you feel? How will it add value to your life? Imagine this goal and see it in your mind's eye. Now, I want you to imagine yourself going forward into the future. 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now. Go forward into the future. And it's now been a month. You have started on the road of success. What decisions did you make to get there? What actions have you taken? How does it feel to be on your road of success? Now, I want you to continue going forward. It's now 6 months in the future. You are much closer to your goal. You are starting to feel the benefits of all of your efforts. How does it feel to be closer to your goal? What emotions do you feel as you move closer toward your goal? Imagine. Create a new story. Now, I want you to continue going forward. It's now 1 year in the future. You have fully accomplished your goal. You have achieved success. Imagine. See yourself. What do you look like? What are you wearing? What are you doing? Who are you with? What are people saying to you? What are you saying to them? How does success feel? Now, I want you to look back on your success over the year. Look back on the process of achieving your goals. Look back on all the hard work and effort. How did you reach your goal step by step? What are the little things you did day by day to achieve your success? What did you do at work or in your relationships or inwardly to achieve success? Take a moment to think of all the steps you took to accomplish your goal. I'll count down from 5 to 0. When I get to 0, feel free to open your eyes and come back whenever you're ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Welcome back. Welcome back. Before we close in prayer, I'd love to open space for anyone that wants to share what came up for you in your creative visualization, or how you felt about the overall experience this evening. Did I see a hand? Sure. Yes, Miriam.
Sorry, I have to go to my Ramadan iftar dinner, but I will share something before I go. I've been thinking about creative imagining and lately, and this just reinforced this to me, that it's so powerful. Like, we have this really powerful thing to use, our creative imagination, and I felt I was getting better at it today. When I started, I thought, oh, it's not, I'm not, it's hard, but I felt I was getting even better at it. So, like, new things popped up.
Nice.
So that was exciting.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing, Miriam, before you go off. I'm glad that new
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
things were added to your story.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, everybody, but I have to go to the Ramadan iftar. Take care. Blessings to everybody. Thank you. And thank you so much, Kyndra. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
This was really beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone else like to share? Yes. How do I pronounce your name?
Kaisa.
Kaza.
I meant to add a pronunciation and I forgot.
Okay.
This was my first One Spirit event, although I've gotten the meditations for years. And this just seemed like a topic that I really needed to engage with as I near the end of a seminary program here in Indiana, and think about what's coming next and how to approach it. There was just so much that resonated for me. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being present. Congrats on finishing up.
I'm not there yet, but
Okay.
getting close.
Good. Good. Yes, Heather.
And I'm at the other end of where Kesa is. This is exactly what I needed as I step into seminary and give up a career I've had for the last 40 years. So it's been perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Carol.
Thank you so much, Reverend Kyndra. This has been wonderful, and the visualization, being guided through it, and the way in which you did it really helped me to move through what came up for me in the triad. I thought I had worked through all of the things that, that I have had fear about, in regards to completing my dissertation. And it felt like it was something on the other side of it, that unknown. So when you walked me through, it took me to the other side of it. And I was able to look back on all of the blessings and the experience. So that dissipated. And it wasn't a what is on the other side. It was just a beingness. Yeah. So thank you.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else? Yes, Robin.
Just really quickly, I love having concrete tools in my toolbox. So this process of doing a visualization is something that's concrete, and I can build a discipline to use it. And I'm excited, and thank you so very much for this. And also the way you did narrated the visualization was just so peaceful, yet so thought and emotion provoking. So thank you.
Thank you, Robin. Anyone else before we close in prayer? Yes, Carol.
Hi, thank you so much. It's a beautiful evening, and the visualization I felt was so helpful because I'm been trying to do many different things. This is my second career, and I'm almost like too diversified, and with your guidance, I felt a momentum gaining in one particular direction, which is teaching, which I really love doing. And I could really see myself feeling the joy of doing that and feeling that. And then I could feel myself working backwards into, well, so what do I need to change, or tweak, or adjust about my time and energy, and to really support that. So I felt like a momentum gaining with the, as each month and week and the year into like, wow, that is really what I want to do. So I appreciate it. And this was great. You're a beautiful presenter and great wisdom. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Carol. I'm glad you got more insight. That's exciting. Wonderful. Anyone else? Thank you all again for your presence, for your sharing, and for your offerings throughout this moment that we've shared. In closing, and you will be able to revisit this on YouTube, Carol, I just saw that in the chat. In closing, I want to offer this prayer for each of you, adapted from the book, One Day My Soul Just Opened Up by Iyanla Vanzant. Expansive divine knowingness. At this very moment, and you can place yourself in the prayer, I find myself in the midst of, and you can think it silently to yourself. I know my ruminations on the fear surrounding it is not for my highest or greater good. I know that this is not a reflection of your divine will. I thank you in advance for reminding me of how to transform this experience into something that is a reflection of you and my true self. Thank you for filling my heart and mind with your divine influence so that we may be in alignment with your perfect plan for us. Forgive us for forgetting that we are your beloved divine expressions and under your watchful eye at all times, and that there is nothing outside of you that has any power over us. We forgive ourselves for allowing this situation the right to exist, and we surrender to your divine presence. Ashe and amen. May you all go in peace. Many blessings to each of you. Thank you again.